Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, here with another AP Top 25 poll breakdown. Before we get started, as always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below, especially those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the country over there. It's one of the best decisions you'll make all season long if you go sign up. We have weekly analysis and weekly picks for both college and NFL. Do not miss out on this offer, guys. Again, our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Link down in the description below. So today we are taking a look at the AP poll going into week 4 of this college football season. And I will tell you guys that we are really about a week out from switching from the AP poll to our own rankings here at the Gridiron Expert. We wanted to get through week 4 of the season, so next Monday when we put out our rankings, it will be our own Gridiron Expert rankings and not based on the AP poll. We wanted to get through about a quarter or a third of the season to really get a good feel of what these teams are like and what they bring to the table. So we will still bring you rankings analysis, but it will be our rankings. It will not be the AP poll. But today it is the AP poll. Today it's still from the Associated Press. We have a lot to say about it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. 6 teams lost in week 3. 6 teams. 3 of them dropped out. Virginia Tech was 15th. They fell to West Virginia. Arizona State was 19th. They fell to BYU. Miami was 24th. They fell to Michigan State. So 3 teams dropped out. The other 3 teams that lost that were ranked remained in. When you look at this rankings, guy, we'll start over here on the top 10, this first column here. We still believe the first 2 teams are undisputed. Alabama is number 1. Georgia is number 2. And then I think there is a gap. I really think there is a gap after that. Alabama, say what you want, they struggled against Florida in the Swamp. They didn't struggle. They were up 21-3 at the end of the first quarter. Florida played a heck of a game. Do not take anything away from the Gators. But Alabama by no means struggled. A young quarterback walked into the Swamp, threw for over 240 yards and 2-3 touchdowns. This Alabama team is still the best team in the country, despite only beating Florida by 2 points. And again, that was on the road, and give Dan Mullen and the Gators a lot of credit for the fight they showed on Saturday afternoon. Alabama is 1, Georgia is 2 after their domination of South Carolina, and these 2 teams seem to be on a direct course and a direct path to meet each other in the SEC championship game. If both, of course, are still undefeated heading into that game, the result really won't matter because both teams will ultimately make the college football playoff. That is only, though, if both Bama and Georgia are undefeated when they meet in Atlanta. We have Oregon in at number 3 from the AP poll. They jumped Oklahoma. Oregon jumped Oklahoma to claim the number 3 spot in the rankings, Oklahoma falling to 4th after their narrow victory over Nebraska. We agree with that. We agree with that. We have been so unimpressed with Oklahoma and the way they've been playing. The narrow victory over Tulane, the narrow victory over Nebraska, a team they should have blown out of the water, only winning 23-16. Oregon, yeah, they beat Stony Brook, but they have maybe the most impressive victory out of any team in the entire country this year, and that's that road win at Ohio State in week 2. The Ducks deserve that number 3 spot. Oklahoma deserves that 4 spot, maybe even lower, until we see the Sooners finally winning games the way we know they should. And that's, to me, in an impressive blowout fashion. And not every game is going to be a blowout, we know that. But the 2 wins, quality over Tulane and Nebraska, haven't been impressive at all. So Oregon, yes, deserves the 3rd spot. Oklahoma at 4. Iowa still at 5, remaining the same after a win over Kent State. Penn State up 4 spots up to number 6 after their win over Auburn. Rightfully deserved. So Penn State, they jumped a few people. They jumped a team like Ohio State. And we'll touch on the Buckeyes in a second. They jumped a team like Texas A&M. They jumped Clemson, who has fallen a few spots. We'll talk on that. Penn State deserved that spot in a primetime game. Yes, they had home field advantage, but they beat a good Auburn team. They beat the 22nd ranked team in the country 28-20. Sean Clifford played lights out. Their defense was phenomenal. Big time goal line stand there and inside the 5-yard line. Penn State's the real deal. And if you look at Iowa and Penn State, one from the West, one from the East, that could maybe be your Big Ten championship game. They meet later on in the year, I believe October 9th. But that could be a Big Ten championship matchup instead of the likes of the Buckeyes. And we'll talk on them in a second. Texas A&M in at number 7. Cincinnati in at number 8. Neither of those teams moved in the rankings. Really, they shouldn't have. Cincinnati really was the only team that could have made a case for it. They beat Indiana by 14. That win would have been more impressive had the Hoosiers been a ranked opponent. Not taking anything away from the Bearcats, but it was a win they needed. It was a win by that margin that they needed. The game against Notre Dame, though, on October 2nd in Week 5, that's going to be the difference maker. Whether they go to the playoff or not, whether they continue to rise in the rankings or not. Clemson in at number 9. They dropped 3 spots. They deserve to. They only beat Georgia Tech 14-8. 14-8, guys. Clemson struggling, especially on the offensive side of the ball. We knew the defense was going to be good. We expected so much more from their offense, and we have not seen it. And the question is, when will we? ACC slate's coming up, guys. They have a tough road game at North Carolina State in Week 4. Not saying we're picking the Wolfpack to win that game, but if Clemson can't figure out their offense, that game might be a lot closer than people expect. They dropped 3 spots because they barely beat a mediocre, actually below average Georgia Tech team. Clemson has a lot to work on. They're 9th. I guarantee no one would have thought the Tigers would have been this low after 3 weeks. And then rounding out the top 10, Ohio State, they're down 1 after the win over Tulsa. They beat Tulsa by 21, sure, but they allowed over 500 yards of offense to the Golden Hurricane. That's unacceptable. Ohio State, to me, has not looked like a top 10 team. Torched on the ground against Minnesota, torched on the ground against Oregon, a team they lost to at home. And then just this last week against Tulsa, everybody thought they would bounce back in a big way. They only won by 21. They were leading by just 7 in the fourth quarter. So they won by 21. The game was a little bit closer than that. And allowed over 500 yards of offense. Imagine how many yards of offense they'll allow to someone even better than that. Oregon torched them. How much will they allow to Penn State? How much would they allow to Michigan State, who's looking good? How much will they allow to Michigan, Indiana? How much are they going to allow to some of these teams, guys, if they can't fix their defense? If they can't fix their defense, they're not going to the playoff. And even if they did, they'll get annihilated. Same goes for Oklahoma. So teams like Oklahoma, Clemson, Ohio State, yeah, they're all top 10 teams. None of them have looked impressive to me. And they have a lot to work on and a lot to fix in a very short amount of time. Second column over here, Florida. They didn't move. Florida stayed the same at number 11 after the 2-point loss to Bama. We're okay with that. I typically don't like teams staying in the same spot after a loss. But I'm okay with Florida doing that because you only lost by 2 to the number 1 team in the country. That 2-point conversion didn't go their way. If they get it, Florida very well could have won that game because the momentum would have been on their side at home, and I think Florida could have won that game in overtime. So only staying the same at number 11, I have no problem with that. The Gators are still SEC title contenders. That game against Georgia, though, will ultimately decide whether or not that comes true. So Florida at 11. Notre Dame at 12. They did not move after a 14-point win over Purdue. Didn't look the best, but a win's a win. They stay at number 12. Ole Miss up 4 after the 40-point win against Tulane. They deserve that 4 ranking jump because let's look. Oklahoma only beat Tulane by 5. Ole Miss beat Tulane by 40. The Rebels are the real deal, guys, and Matt Corral is the real deal. Maybe a Heisman favorite for many right now. He's putting up ridiculous numbers. Lane Kiffin's team's putting up ridiculous numbers. The defense finally seems to improve drastically. We'll obviously see how that pans out when they get into SEC play, the bulk of it at least, but Ole Miss looks good. And they are the 13th ranked team in the nation for a reason, and we do not disagree with that. So Ole Miss in at 13. Iowa State in at 14. They did not move after a big win, not big, we mean by like dominating, win over UNLV out in Las Vegas. BYU, they were one of the biggest movers of the week, moving up 8 after a win over Arizona State. They beat the Sun Devils, who were 19th at the time, beat them by 10, 27-17. Tyler Algier, man, him stripping the ball away late in the third quarter after Jaron Hall threw a pick. He doesn't strip that ball away, we might not be talking about the Cougars at number 15. He doesn't strip it, BYU might have lost that game because all the momentum would have gone to the Sun Devils, and the Sun Devils probably would have gotten some points out of that. So give credit to Tyler Algier, give credit to Jaron Hall, give credit to BYU's defense forcing 4 turnovers. They've won 3 straight games at 3-0. They are obviously undefeated. All 3 games have come against Pac-12 opponents. The last 2 have come against ranked opponents in Utah and Arizona State. The Cougars are the real deal. Arkansas in at number 16. They're up 4 spots after a 35-point win over Georgia Southern. They didn't move up 4 because Georgia Southern was any good, but they moved up because of the dominating performance, which is in recent years has been a rarity for the Razorbacks, especially in non-conference games. And they moved up because teams ahead of them lost. Arkansas, now number 16. First time again they were ranked in 5 years. That was last week when they were 20th. Continue to climb the polls. Have a showdown in Dallas against number 7 Texas A&M. Arkansas, if you win that game, you will be a top 10 team going into week 5. If you win that game, you will be a top 10 team. And I guarantee if you had told anybody in the country, especially a Razorback fan, they would be a top 10 team maybe going into week 5, they would have laughed at you and said, not a chance. Arkansas is the real deal, guys. They're legit. And that game in Dallas this weekend is going to be a barn burner between the Aggies and the Razorbacks. Coastal Carolina, right behind Arkansas, in at number 17. They took down Buffalo. Wisconsin in at 18, stayed in the same spot. Michigan up 6 after a big win over Northern Illinois. The offense, especially the rushing offense, really clicking for the Wolverines. The front half of their schedule is very favorable, guys, where Michigan, I think, continues to climb the polls. It's that final month of November that has some very difficult opponents, but if they can win 2 of those maybe final 4 games, Michigan could be in the thick of Big Ten title conversation, and we genuinely mean that. Michigan's looking good. Right behind them, their in-state rival, Michigan State, they're brand new to the rankings because they just took down Miami in dominating fashion at the Hurricanes in Miami. Michigan State is the real deal, guys. We didn't think they would be, but Mel Tucker's doing a phenomenal job with this team. The Spartans are 3-0 for the first time since 2015. They have cracked the rankings. They are not just a team that, we might flirt with bowl eligibility. They are a dark horse candidate in the Big Ten East. I wasn't going to say that if they beat Miami, but I'm saying it now because of the way they beat the Hurricanes. They had won by 3. I'd say great win. They deserve to be ranked. Let's pump the brakes. But the way they did it, the way the offense is gelling, Michigan State is the real deal. They're in at 20th. They deserve that spot. Final 5. Look over here. We got North Carolina. Beat Virginia by 20 in a game that featured over 1,200 yards of offense. The Tar Heels aren't going to climb until they get a higher quality win, and they're not going to climb until they can fix their defense. They remain at 21st. They still have work to do despite the big win. After that, Fresno State. How about the Bulldogs? How about the Bulldogs taking down UCLA late at night on Saturday? Jake Haener, an unbelievable performance at quarterback, 455 yards, took down the Bruins. They shut down the run. The Bulldogs are the favorite in the Mountain West. They had one of the wildest wins of the season, and an impressive one, 40-37 over the Bruins. They deserve to be ranked at 22. Auburn down 1-23 after the loss to Penn State. Only one, a respectable showing on the road. That's fine. UCLA down 11 after the loss to Fresno State. Yes, the Bulldogs do deserve to be above the Bruins. Some would say they don't. They do deserve that. So Fresno State above UCLA, who they just beat. And then Kansas State coming in at number 25. Brand new to the top 25. A couple teams could have made an argument here. San Diego State, I thought, could have made an argument for 25th after their win over Utah. But I like Kansas State. Big win over Stanford, who's starting to get hot. Stanford took down USC, got Clay Helton fired, and then just went on the road and annihilated Vanderbilt. Kansas State beat them by 17, and they just beat a good Nevada squad by like 21 points with the backup quarterback. This is a good Kansas State team, guys. And sitting at 25th, they have an interesting showdown against Oklahoma State this upcoming Saturday. One that's going to be huge for the Big 12 standings, and a team that maybe could challenge Oklahoma, challenge Iowa State, challenge for a final 2 spot in the Big 12. So there you have it, guys. Your brand new AP Top 25 poll going into Week 4. The last one we will break down here on the channel because going forward every Monday, we'll provide you with our own rankings, the Gridiron Expert Top 25. So we'll have that for you next Monday. But these are the official rankings going into this weekend. We've got 2 ranked versus ranked matchups, Texas A&M and Arkansas, Notre Dame and Wisconsin, both at neutral sites. We'll be breaking those down later in the week, and a handful of others as well because we know with this season, guys, with the way it's been going, we're going to see tons of upsets, not just in Week 4, but going forward as well. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below too, especially those expert picks. Go sign up for those today, guys. Our analysis comes out every single week for both college and NFL, and it's analysis and picks you don't want to miss because they're some of the best in the country for one of the cheapest rates in the country. So sign up for those today. Help us help you. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.